Shalom, ladies and gentlemen. Today, as always, we'll be talking about our weekly Torah portion. Actually, twice, not as always, because we're reading two Torah portions, BeHar-BeChukotai, and also be completing the third book of Torah, book of Vayikra. And I hope all of you will join the public services this Shabbos in the synagogue to scream Chazak, Chazak, when it's Chazak at the conclusion of the Torah reading. Before we get to the Parsha, actually in our Parsha there is a question, there's an answer to the question that I want to pose. I want to remind you about the song. If you're watching this video, most likely you know this song. It's a famous song on the words of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, that in Hebrew sounds that Kol Olam Kolo Gesher Tsar Meot Va'ikar Lo Lefachet Klal. The whole entire world is a very narrow bridge, and most important, it's not too afraid to cross it. It's not a literal translation, but I personally always had a question about this song, because it's very strange that Rabbi Nachman will say not to fear when you cross this bridge, because the fear of God, fear of heaven, the trembling, to be afraid from the punishment, this is the basic of the Judaism. And towards the end of his life, Moshe Rabbeinu says, the only thing that I demand from you, it's a fear of heaven. So impossible that Rabbi Nachman just said not to fear, because fear, it's a basic thing in our relation with God. However, if you look at the source, Rabbi Nachman never said the words that are brought in a song. Because in the Rabbi Nachman main book that collects all his teachings, the book Likutei Moharan, that was collected and written by his students, Rabbi Nosson from Breslov, it says something else. It says, yes, this world is a narrow breach, very, very narrow breach actually. It says, and the most important rule, Lo litpahet klal. If you don't know Hebrew and don't know Hebrew well, you will not see the difference. But in the song it says Lo lefachet klal, and in original text of Rabbi Nachman writings it says Lo lehitpahet klal. For this, to see the difference, you need to know specifically in Hebrew the grammar, the forms of the verbs in Hebrew, which is the most difficult part of the Hebrew grammar. But literally translation doesn't change, because the one says not to fear, not to be afraid, and the other one it says not to be afraid. But just one small detail changing the whole meaning. And to understand this meaning, we have to go back to our weekly Torah portion. Our book of Vayikra could be logically ended with the Parshas Behar, which talks about the mitzvahs related to the land of Israel. And it's a logical end, because at this moment we start our journey towards the land of Israel, and we receive the last rules how to build our life in the land of Israel. However, the Torah adds one more chapter, Parshas BeChukotai, the chapter BeChukotai that begins nicely with the blessings, just the first 12 sentences, and then, as always, right before the holiday of Shavuot, we read 49 curses. Terrible curses, or rather warnings of what could happen or actually will happen. But every year that I read those curses, I stumble upon one of them. And I actually use this opportunity to read right away with this beautiful English translation the literal meaning of those curses. It's a 26th paragraph in the book of Vayikra, the sentence number 36 and 37. The survivors among you, I will bring weakness into their hearts in the land of their foes. The sound of rustling leaf will pursue them. They will flee as one flees the sword, and they will fall, but without a pursuer. They will stumble over one another as in flight from the sword, but there is no pursuer. You will not have power to withstand your foes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a terrible curse. What Torah says actually here, that it's a prediction of our times today, when we were living among other nations and we afraid, but there is nothing to be scared of. No, I'm not downgrade the fact that the empires throughout the last 4,000 years want to destroy us. But look at this today. The boy or girl that going to the campus, even in the United States, are told not to express their Jewishness, hide their visual Jewish signs. Like whoever wears Magen David, Kippah, and so on. When you go to Europe, you are instructed not to look visually Jewish. Even unfortunately, in the Holy Land today, there are places that it's not so comfortable to be visibly Jewish. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is the fear that Rabbi Nachman talking about. Lehit pached, to fear of oneself, to fear, to show that you're Jewish, to fear to be proud of who you are. And then your fear, even nobody is pursuing you. You're falling in front of your enemies. Even your enemies don't care about you. They don't pursue you. You fear of any movement, of any sound of the falling cliff. This is a true curse that goes with us throughout all our generations. But ladies and gentlemen, we are descendants of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. We are students of Moshe Rabbeinu. There's so much for us to be proud of and not to fear ourselves. I just hope this curse that was mentioned 33 centuries ago, and then Rabbi Nachman of Breslov tells that this is what we should fear ourselves. This is already behind us. Because yes, all the curses came to be, or as the prominent Hasidic leader, the Tzanzerov, who survived the Holocaust and saw all his family destroyed and killed by the Nazis, Ymach Shmam, when he was reading these curses, specifically those two verses, he was saying, please, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I hope all those curses are already behind us. Now it's time not to fear from, but to fear Hashem, and not to scare of who you are, but to be proud of who we are. Thank you very much. Good luck. I see you next week.